Hi, this is Kane Hodder, better known as Jason from Friday the 13th, Victor Crowley from Hatchet. You are listening to Midnight at the Monster Museum. Keep listening, or I'll kill you.
This is Charles Band. You're listening to Midnight at the Monster Museum.
Welcome to Midnight at the Monster Museum. And I'm Tom Devlin. This is Jeff Chang.
Hello.
That's Waleed over there.
Hello.
And here we go, man. This is it's been a big week. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that week, but I also want to tell you we got this sweet new sponsor, and it's called Rock Rebel. Rock Rebel is a horror apparel company. They create patches, T-shirts, purses, anything that has to do with horror, memorabilia, classic monsters, some really cool items. So if you check out rockrebel.com, you're going to find some incredible products. You can also purchase it here at the Monster Museum, and we will be doing some giveaways coming up here in the future, and along with those giveaways will be Rock Rebel merchandise. So that's pretty cool. I've had one of those kismatic week. Kismatic? Is that a word? Is that something? Kismet. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's been a pretty outstanding week. I'm just gonna sometimes. In my line of work, which is working in film and television, you forget about where you came from and where the dream started and how things formulated. And this last week, I've had the opportunity to check off. Actually, it's not even checking off because a lot of it I've already done or I've experienced, but all in one short time in the last 5 days. I did Kane Hodder's makeup for a werewolf thing we're doing called Ragaroo, and that is it was a foam latex prosthetic on Kane Hodder, of course, who played Jason. Yesterday, I did Captain Spaulding and Otis's makeup on both Sid Haig and Bill Moseley for the Days of the Dead convention that they did their photo ops in, and they were phenomenal. And then on Tuesday, I start a full moon feature with Charles Band, childhood hero who I've worked for now for over 10 years. But at the same time, it's one of those things where I have, sometimes I have to look back, take a step outside of current Tom and let 14, 15-year-old Tom take a look through those glasses and say, wow, man, that's like, we got Jason, House of a Thousand Corpses, and the Puppet Master world. That's pretty much my horror fandom of horror fandoms. So it's nice to realize once in a while, like, oh, we're doing it. And all of them love the Monster Museum. So that's another great thing, And we did do the Days of the Dead convention this weekend, which was a madhouse of awesome vendors and great celebrities and everybody I got to talk to. So many people had so much love for the Monster Museum and what we're doing. We are having a huge party here on July 6th for our 2-year anniversary. I've got them bringing the Christine car out here, Paul Casey Entertainment, for photo ops. We have R.A. Mihailoff, who was Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw 3, coming out, and he'll be signing autographs and also screening a film that he made here locally. We're going to have games in the parking lot like cornhole and different beanbag type shenanigans.
See, that's all we say the word giggity for. Cornholing.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, I'll give that one.
And so all that being said, life's pretty good here, and we're off to a killer summer at the Monster Museum, and I hope everybody that tunes in and listens to this is as excited as I am for the things to come here in the future, because we've got some pretty awesome stuff. We're starting a movie on Tuesday with 1313 Effects, doing the effects for Full Moon Entertainment's Halloween Night of the Ouijas, or Meet the Ouijas. And with those there are 4 ghoulie type creatures that we've created. And we have awesome celebrity cameos like Barbara Crampton going to be in there. And it's just going to be a blast. It's going to be an awesome, fun throwback film. And once we have some pictures and stuff like that, we'll throw them up here. We also, I think, are going to be starting some social media based on the podcast, because the podcast is starting to get a lot of heat. Heat? I don't know if it's heat. Steam? Yeah, we're growing. We're like a fucking snowball. It's growing. People love it, and that makes me happy. It makes me want to keep going. We're on the way. We're on the road to nowhere. Like Little Monsters. That was good. Anyway. So, flashback feature number 1.
It's dark in here, so I'm gonna have to use a flash. It's gonna be a big burst of light. But don't let it upset you. Just relax, sit back, and say, gee.
Remember the Times Square freak twins?
Yeah. They're born Siamese twins. And they get cut apart, kill some doctors, and vanish from the hospital.
Delia?
They'll come looking for us and find all of them.
Exactly.
I can't let that happen.
Well, I found them.
So what will you do?
Whatever I have to.
No.
Basketcase 2.
That's no way for a reporter to behave. He wants to grant you an interview. A personal interview. His very first.
He's all excited.
This time, he's not alone.
For what we're doing is, of course, another sequel, because that seems to be all we ever pick. And we're going with Frank Henenlotter's Basketcase 2. And
Written and directed.
Yeah, written and directed by Frank Henenlotter.
Which he does on most of his films.
Yeah. And he was what I have dubbed my own term for the kind of that late 80s, early 90s, well, I guess early 80s to 80s, early 90s New York horror films, which I call meltdown movies. And that would encompass the Trauma films, the Toxic Avenger, Nuke 'Em High. That would encompass Slime City, Street Trash, all the Henenlotter stuff from Frankenhooker to Basketcase to Bad Taste to whatever, not Bad Taste. Yeah,
No. Brain
damage. Yeah, I have brain damage.
Yes.
But Bad Taste being obviously made across the pond. But those New York...
Bad Biology.
Bad Biology. Yeah. Well, that came a little bit later. Yeah. But still, Henenlotter never lost his
his tone is very much the same.
He is stuck in the grime world.
Well, that's one thing I really appreciated is that you can tell, I mean, he has a signature style.
Oh, yeah.
And whereas some writers or directors, you can see the shift in it, but he maintains
the thing is, and you see it with certain Sam Raimi.
He has a visual style.
There's a Tim Burton for a more mainstream or larger scale, but there are certain people that have that, like, it's
their visual flair.
Yeah, their vision, and even though they're not the DP, their look transfers into their camera work.
Absolutely.
Early John Carpenter stuff, especially because he worked so much with Dean Cundy. I felt like all the John Carpenter stuff looked very similar.
I agree.
But Henenlotter, he made cheap movies. He made Basketcase 1, I think, was $35,000 or $40,000. Brain Damage might have been like $10. I mean, They made really cheap movies.
Brain Damage is $35,000.
Okay.
Compared to this one, which had a $2.5 million budget.
Which back in the day, that was still considered low budget.
Absolutely. But
non-union.
You can
and
certainly see
the
the difference. Like, I mean, when we were talking about it earlier, I said it reminded me very much of just a little bit more refined trauma film.
Yeah.
The way it was shot, I'm sure. I mean, I know it was a 16 millimeter print originally.
Well, that's the best.
Yeah.
That's Texas Chainsaw style right there. Nothing looks better than Super 16 to me.
That would the first one, of course, not the second one.
But yeah, and anything on film. I mean, that 35 millimeter, 16 millimeter. For those of you who don't know, that sells rubber monsters like nothing else because it puts this like a sheen between the viewer and the screen. And
well, I think it really suits the subject matter too because it's
very gritty and
grimy, but in a great way.
Yeah. So if you're not familiar with Basket Case 1, you should maybe pause and watch it and then come back and then we'll talk about part 2.
Yeah.
Or you might want to watch both of them.
There's 8 years separating the production of the two, but part 2 picks up literally where the first one
it picks up like the moment it leaves off, even though everybody has aged tremendously.
Yeah.
And the effects.
Well, they give Henenreich his signature mullet furl, but it's a wig in the sequel because he's clearly cut his hair. But
and they the effects have kind of jumped to a different level and
a great level.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I mean, they're good. They're good in the first one, don't get me wrong. But they used stop motion for.
They did a bunch of stop motion. Oh my God! My dog, Cujo? Nope, that was just Jeff's backpack.
Yeah, but with my Nightmare on Elm Street lunchbox.
Oh my God!
It's a gift, man.
He dented?
For my loving wife that's over there sitting.
Did it dent?
Yes.
So
We'll blame it on the museum ghost.
Jeff has just ruined his Nightmare on Elm Street lunchbox.
I didn't ruin it. Still.
He'll never eat lunch from that pail again.
I didn't eat lunch from it in the first place.
Oh, okay. So he just carries it around like a purse.
In my backpack?
I don't know. Anyway, so I wonder if you can connect Basket Case 2 to Nightmare on Elm Street lunchboxes. Who's cooler? Belial or Nightmare on Elm Street lunchbox?
Well, it's my lunchbox. That's a gift from my wife, so.
It's cooler than Belial?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Everything I get from my wife's cooler. And she didn't even need to be here.
Okay. Well,
you can say something. You don't even have to say something.
Hi.
Okay.
Maybe they picked it up.
So, Jeff's wife, who is a wonderful person,
she's the best.
Made a lunchbox gift cooler than a Siamese twin that's been disattached and put in a basket. I think that's cooler. I just do. What's in the basket?
Well, okay, let's say it was Lola. So.
If Lola gave me a lunchbox,
yeah.
I'd say Belial's cooler.
Oh, well,
unless she gave me a Belial lunchbox, and then I'd be insane. Because I love Belial. And I love Belial in the first one, and I love Belial in the second one. I think in the second one, his paint scheme has immensely improved. And I like the...
Well, the mold is, I mean, the sculpt is improved, too, and stuff.
No, it has.
And even though it's molded off of Kevin Heidenreich's face, I think it shows more in the second one. The
not only in that 8 years did people learn how to make cooler stuff, but they switched teams. So Gabe Bartalos, who's one of my favorite effects artists, handled this. But he also had Joel Harlow working for him when Joel was pretty young. But Joel Harlow, of course, now is an Academy Award winner for Star Trek. I've never worked with Joel, but I have. He has supported 1313 Effects in the past. He's lended molds to projects that I've had. He's an awesome guy. He's rad dude. And he had some great times on this movie that he's told me about and how crazy it was. I have met Gabe Bartalos twice. I've been in the same room with him. One time shook his hand, said hi. I've never told Gabe how much he has influenced my style. And if you look at this movie
I think
in
you told me that
particular,
before, right? You thought
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things. Like, it's not that I don't want to pump his ego up. I think he's a great guy. The first time I met him was at a random party, and the second time was at a funeral.
Worship, right? You don't want to go full hero worship.
Yeah, I mean, there's two artists that have affected my style, my craft, and that would be John Beekler and Gabe Bartalos.
Yeah, that's actually when you told me last
Yeah.
when you were talking about the
So
funeral.
the chunkiness and the deep line work and I mean, you can see it in the mutants in this movie. They're twisty and rounded and bulbous and everything's asymmetrical. That's very much in my.
Well, I was about to say,
wheelhouse.
honestly, out of all the
pores
artists that we've covered and stuff, his style reminds me most of yours.
Yeah, no, between him and Beekler, that's I can fully say, without ripping them off,
Well, like Bilal looks like something you'd make.
Yeah, of course.
Totally.
No, anything.
And I'm surprised you haven't actually.
I have talked about making a Belial for 20 years, and I just haven't done it.
Should be here.
It should have been done. I think it's one of those ones.
Got to remodel, do it.
You know, it's one of those things, and it should go into the cult classics room.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where I get these ideas of things that I'm going to make, and it takes so long for me to pull the trigger that when I do, like recently I sculpted a Nosferatu. I've been talking about making a Graph Warlock Nosferatu for freaking as long as I've known what it was. And so I sit down to do it. It takes me like 40 minutes. And I'm like, oh, wow. Because it's so burned in my brain what it looks like. So I think that when I do Belial.
Belial will be in the next remodel.
The next
coming, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, it would fit with the little tiny tears, like the gremlin and all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think that we need a Belial. And we need
1000%.
to represent Henenlotter because Basketcase, just like Trauma, and I mean, we've got some cool stuff like the Maniac Cop here and Critters and Killer Clowns, which are all lesser known horror. You know, it's not all the mainstream, you know, and to me, Henenlotter's work is
the next binge.
That, you know, screw that next binge. But so I think having a Belial would fit perfect.
But what else would people know Bartalos for?
Gabe Bartalos also is responsible for the entire Leprechaun series until this newest one. Jeff Farley did the newest one, but he did all the Warwick Davis Leprechauns, and Gabe and Warwick have worked together a ton, so they're very good buddies, and I love the Leprechaun. I love everything about him, and obviously we have that Leprechaun tribute here.
I didn't know he actually did I Come in Peace too.
The movie I Come
in Peace. Yeah, he did the effects on that.
I didn't realize
that.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
That's awesome.
I love that movie.
That's
so
awesome. Yeah, he's had his hands in a ton of stuff, man. He's helped out in the Nightmare franchise. He's helped out, and he's done
a lot of work.
He's done a lot of work because he's always been really easy to jump to help other artists. You know, he's not one of those guys that just does his own thing. There's another guy named Vincent Guastini who's got a very Gabe Bartalos mentality of like getting his fingers in a lot of things, you know, and that's cool. That's lost nowadays. Every artist coming up just wants their own show and wants to do it by themselves, and nobody can reach out and ask for any help. Sound familiar? But that's the thing, and I wasn't talking about myself. I was talking about up-and-coming artists. Anyway, back to Basketcase 2. So in the first one, they're kind of in a transient apartment deal, and you know, he can't really get over the fact that he can't get a lady because Belial, his little. So the idea is he's got this blobby tumor of a twin brother that was removed.
Kevin Van Henrenreich plays Dwayne, the guy you're talking about. Yeah.
Yep. So Dwayne has had his brother removed, and he keeps him in a basket. And he's like a blobby, like Boglin-looking guy. And so in the first one, he's solo. It's just him. But in the second one, he finds a halfway house or a wayward home for misfit youth of different people, you know. And so they take up in this house full of freaking mutants.
Well, yeah, there's the woman Granny Ruth, played by Annie Ross.
Yeah.
What I didn't know, even though I remembered her, is that she played Vera in Superman 3.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it scared the crap out of lots of kids when she turned into that cyborg shit.
Yeah.
but yeah, it's her, and then what's her name? Heather Rattray.
Rattray?
It's
Right.
Rattray. I don't know. Rattray. I don't know.
Ratatouille.
Yeah, she plays Susan.
Yeah,
And,
but Susan's awesome.
yeah, she's hot.
Yeah, super blonde, and you know.
Yeah, they're the ones that take them in.
Yeah, and inside that house, there's a plethora of awesome, weird music. Like guy with millions of noses, like he's just all noses.
Yeah, and the dude with the teeth.
Yeah, the angled teeth, and you see
That's cool.
that, and it's like fanned out and back in. And there's an artist named Joe Castro, and he made a movie called Terror Tunes. And there's a guy with big teeth like that. I swear was inspired by that.
You know what I actually really appreciated about it though, is there's no bounce.
To the teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're solid.
You know, because I see that. I mean, I understand the logistics of that, but that's the whole point of why it impresses me. Because usually you see that stuff.
And it looks like his skin is just stretched up over the gum line there. I mean, that guy is awesome. There's like a weird wrinkled kind of nutsack looking dude, but
there's some great faces, and I mean, great sculptures that work.
They're all just
they're all
different.
unique.
There's one that has that very Clive Barker look, where like his head cap's showing, and it's like pins pulling away.
Yeah, but what I really love about it is it looks organic, though.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love Nightbreed when I say that.
Of course.
I say this. But they looked like sculptures. A lot of them looked like sculptures.
Nightbreed looks like sculptures.
These looked like organic people, just with deformities and stuff like that.
I'm totally going to step so far outside of this movie, but have you ever seen Drop Dead Fred?
Yeah.
I love that Velcro head guy. There's this guy, he looks like a crash test dummy, but he just has a Velcro head, and like you throw the Velcro balls at his head, and it's just like, who the heck? Where was it written in the script? And then there's Velcro head man in the background. Like at the you know, they're at the psychologist or whatever, and all the imaginary friends are there, and freaking Velcro head guy cracks me up.
That's so not a kid's movie.
I love it. Cobwebs.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying.
Actually pulls
that's
like
not
a part of the Velcro off.
I'm just saying that ain't a kid's movie though.
No, Drop Dead Fred wasn't.
No, I mean it was kind of like publicized as one and promoted, but it's not a kid's movie at all.
No, panties. Cobwebs.
Real quick, because
they're remaking Drop Dead Fred.
No, Nightbreed.
Nightbreed?
Yeah, which I think would be cool because I believe Clive Barker's involved in it. I think it's going to be a miniseries.
Well,
or a
he
series.
was at the Days of the Dead convention, and I hope he didn't look very well.
Well, he was in he got in that accident years ago and it almost killed him. So
I hope everything's good. I know he was in great spirits.
Well, I mean, it was in pre-production as far as I know.
Yeah.
So it was, as far as I know, it was actually picked up. So.
Nightbreed is a brilliant movie.
Yeah. Well, have you seen the director's cut? The new one. The new one that just came out last year.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it's really good.
The thing is I don't know if Nightbreed will translate to a modern reboot. I don't know how that will go over for me, but yeah. We'll see.
I do appreciate though that it's going to be a series because there's certain things that I think just need to be longer, you know, and I think that's what ends up going wrong with a lot of these adaptations is they try to jam too much into a short thing and then it doesn't play well because there's too much exposition in a short period of time. Anyhow,
back to Basketcase. The monsters are a plethora of monsters, and they take in Belial and Dwayne pretty quickly. Like they're like, you're one of us, you know. And there's a freaks vibe in this. They got
I think what ends up playing into that is because of Susan, who ends up. It turns you don't know this, but she was a Siamese twin too.
As well, yeah. And then there's
that's the reveal
bride
at the
of
end.
Belial.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which is really cool, you know.
Well, I think it's funny how they kind of reveal that because she keeps alluding to the fact that she's a freak too. Doesn't really say what, and then Belial starts getting it on with, you know, they say, oh, that's the thing, and you only see the eyes early on in the movie, and then
but you kind of know immediately it's a female Belial.
Oh yeah, but then the reveal is that it totally has her face, straight up has her face.
Yeah.
And the sex scene is something else.
And the funny thing about that is so like everybody was so worked up when Chucky and Tiffany did it, and I was like, we've seen this before.
Yeah, but that movie was more mainstream was a problem.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
You know.
And I thought it was great. I love when Belial gets down with
Oh yeah, it's
Lady
great.
Blob, but I think that
That's also the same time the reveal with the pregnancy.
yeah. It's pretty out there, man. And part 3 goes even further because they end
I
up
still have
on,
not seen it yet.
they end up on an island full of these things. Like it's wacky and it's for another podcast. But the makeup effects in that, it's like fucking Lord of the Rings of mutant weird. There's so many, every character. I mean, it's weird.
I always see like that scene with the security guard is always on like clips of like greatest kills and stuff.
Yeah.
Where he just twists the guy's head off like repeatedly, up in the air.
That's awesome. And it's one of those movies that it came out in 1990, part 2, and it was big on VHS, like at all the VHS stores, but as soon as DVD hit, it wasn't right away. I know Something Weird Video, the DVD company, put out the first one, but it was really a while before part 2.
This one for
found a
me,
home.
it was one of those things where it was either on TV or my friend, I can't even remember, and it was on. I didn't even know it was a sequel at the time. I just
Right.
started watching it, and I was like, "What is this?" And so it was actually years before I saw Basket Case 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing
That's
happened with
kinda-
Evil Dead 2, actually.
That's crazy because with Basket Case, well, Evil Dead 2 is almost like a reboot of part
But they all
1.
do that, or
But-
they truncate the.
But with this movie, like going into it not knowing what you were seeing, you were probably like, "What am I watching?"
Yeah.
You know, this is the most.
But it was great.
It's so bizarre.
I always love things that catch you off guard because it's so out of left field,
Yeah.
where it breaks conventions and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's one thing. It's completely off. The funniest moment it's
The doctor.
No, it's the cop.
Oh, the cop.
She comes in and she bribes him with $100 bill, and she very calmly says, "I help you out. You help me out. Agree?" And he gets, dude's like overacting supremo, and he says, "No, this ain't good. This will get me all depressed and angry. This is the kind of thing that'll make things between us real ugly, real bad. Is that what you want? You want me to get mad?" And then she calmly says, "I just want 5 minutes with him." "Lady, you got a fucking attitude problem. You know that?" It's like, what? It's the funniest fucking thing. I don't know what he's depressed about. He says, "This will make really. I don't know what he's alluding
Just
to."
a weird character choice.
Yeah, she's totally chill, and he's all over the place. And it was funny because I actually told Jamie about it, and then I played it for her, and then my performance right there, I was like, "Yeah, I undersold it, didn't I?" Because the guy goes way over the top. It's hilarious. But yeah, that was great bits of comedy in that movie. I did appreciate though the first time they show all the, at least to my mind's eye anyway, the first time they reveal all of the freaks.
Yeah.
When the photographer goes up there and they all come out of the
Shadows.
it's such a great shot. It's so cool. But the guy's a complete moron because he knows he's in a world of shit, and he says, "Oh shit." What does he do? He keeps taking pictures. They're coming at him. They're clearly pissed at him, and he just sits there. And then he starts looking around and taking more pictures. And then, of course, they fucking kill him. But then that's juxtaposed to the editor Phil, who ends up going into the bar. And then the same thing virtually happens as he goes in there, and then he realizes he's surrounded by all the freaks, and they all wearing the masks. It's pretty funny because they all have these protrusions coming up, but they have like these face masks around them on it. And he says, "Oh shit!" But he mans up, and that's actually I think probably as far as horror goes, that's probably my favorite moment
in the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right there.
The funny thing is that I know they're all freaks and they look weird, but does that just make them homicidal maniacs? Like we look weird. We're going to kill everybody that says that we look weird.
Right. Well, I think they're trying to cover it. I think in the defense of them for the photographer is, at least we know that they're trying to expose these people.
Yeah.
And they're trying to hide from society because they've been mistreated.
Yeah.
And they don't want to go back to the freak show.
Right.
And for whatever reason they gotta. It's almost, to me, the allegory is almost like mutants and X-Men and stuff. They're kind of trying to hide.
They're trying to hide.
Because they know they can't live a normal life.
So instead of being like, hey, here's $100, take a walk, they're like, but no, we'll just kill you. We'll just live up to the reputation we already have.
Well, he's there to take pictures to expose them,
So they're like, well, we might as well.
Yeah, and then the same thing with the newspaper editor.
Yeah.
He's there because he's trying to expose them,
No, it's pretty good. It's pretty.
Well, because I don't know if that's the first person that died. Bilal takes out the freak show guy, the guy,
ringmaster or whatever. Yeah.
And but he was like, oh yeah, I should take the $100.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so being that it was the early 90s, 1990, and this many practical effects on the screen, you didn't see that. You didn't see that much rubber on the screen usually back then. I mean, it'd be like the last minute, or it would be, I guess when Ninja Turtles came out in 1990, and they're 4 full foam rubber characters the entire movie. But before that, you'd get like a character with facial prosthetics. You'd get something like Swamp. We talked about Return to Swamp Thing, but you see those monsters for like 40 seconds, and they're gone. This is a lot of rubber monsters on the screen for a long time, and
despite the fact that they aren't given character, they're fully realized characters.
Yeah, no, kind of like Nightbreed. Like they are characters that are, nose guy or whatever, but. It's just impressive to me to think about the time and effort put into such a lesser known movie. So much work went into it, and
and surprisingly, both at least the first couple movies, I don't know about the third one, they were actually critically acclaimed.
Yeah,
the critics actually
ran
enjoyed
theatrical.
The movies.
They ran theatrical like second run, not second run, but like drive-in style.
Well, typically, this is the kind of movie that most critics would turn their nose up at. But for whatever reason, they hit the buttons right.
And that's, I credit that to Henenlotter, because he took obscure material and put real effort towards it, and there might be bad acting, and they didn't use sets. They just shot on like actual places.
I think that's the thing, is the way his writing style goes is, despite the overacting, or despite the, it's written to be hammy, so it plays to the strengths of bad acting.
It's almost a living comic book.
Yeah.
Because most comic books, especially like the old EC Tales from the Crypt comics, which these are very akin to, if you did a live performance, read it out loud, of the writing in those Tales from the Crypt comics, it would sound hammy and like over the top.
Well, yeah, exactly. And basically what I was alluding to is, if you put a great actor in there, then it would be awful.
Right.
And it would be no good.
Right. Yeah. So on a Hypno scale, what does Jeff rate this movie?
I give it a 5.
I give it a 5 too.
Yeah.
Wow. We're right there. We're on Hypno scale similarity today.
Well, it's entertaining. It's got great comedy, and the effects are fantastic. The makeup's phenomenal. In any era, but considering the time it came out too,
let's we're about to. I agree with all that, and the amount of monsters is what makes me. I'm all in. It's that, like, that's all I care about. I think the deaths are cool and fun, but it's the monsters that were everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before we end this segment, we will touch on the fact of how the chick never comes back mutilated. And yeah. Because there's a very much a Todd Browning. Yeah. There's a Todd Browning's freaked element to this whole movie, where this band of freaks has adopted this new mutant, and there's a circus element, and they have that kind of like gabba gabba hey gabba we gabba
Well,
one of us.
I think we kind of skipped over that story
Yeah.
beat, which is that there's this reporter that is trying to on the tail. I mean, we alluded to
Right.
the photographer,
Yeah.
but there's this reporter that is on the tail, and that she's actually a through line through this entire thing.
Yeah,
And they just want her to stop.
right.
And that's the whole point. They don't kill her.
No, but they end up tearing her face up pretty good.
And they laugh about it, and they're like, "Yeah, now you're one of us."
Yeah, and we imagine, like in Todd Browning's Freak, that we're going to see her at the end as one of them, and
Never
do.
see her again. You don't even know what the fuck happens.
so it's
like,
kind of one of those. Did they run out of time? Did they switch their mind? Did they?
And to me, there's a missed opportunity. I mean, I'd still stick to my score pack because it's
It's a great movie.
It's an engrossing movie, far more than I think than the genre would actually demand.
Right.
But to me, considering what ends up happening, where Belial ends up getting it on with the twin,
Yeah.
and then Dwayne ends up hooking up with Susan when he ends up finding out her pregnancy secret.
Right.
Which is essentially a lizard type hand puppet that comes out of her stomach that's not ready to come out.
Yeah.
And he freaks out, and then and that's actually great when he's that's the good cliffhanger that he sews Belial back onto himself because he's slipped on a banana peel. But to me, you could have put her in either of those spots.
Right.
Where she could have either been the one for Belial, which I think is the way to go, honestly, or somehow, hooked her up with Dwayne in some fashion.
Yeah.
So, that not so much that because he's clearly been interested in Susan throughout the movie.
Yeah.
But especially since you don't really see the reveal of Belial's hookup at the end,
Right.
until the end, really, I think that
It could have gone
been
that way.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, who knows? Maybe they'll reboot the franchise someday, and we'll get to see a whole new world of
The way
Belial.
things are going, no. Basketcase 4.
I would love to
Case
see a
4, yeah.
basket case 4. And you know what? Henenlotter's not done. I mean, he could do it, and I'm sure it could be good. But before we move into our modern morsel, we're going to give one quick word from our sponsors and the podcasts that we run here by Anchor. So see you in a minute. All right, we're back, and so Jeff made it out to the movies, and as usual, I didn't, and that's the way it goes. And he's going to talk to us all about the new Godzilla, which I'm a
King
huge
of
Godzilla
Monsters.
fan. You're a huge Godzilla
I love
fan.
Godzilla, and I
And-
love this movie. If you are an old school Godzilla fan, you love any of those, you will love this movie. Absolutely.
What's your favorite Godzilla movie?
That's tough. Well, actually, this is actually pretty up there. This is pretty far up there because it has the feel of man in suit while having all the benefits of a huge budget. It's got, this is the thing, it's been divisive. Some of the critics have panned it. I don't know why, because if you know the source material, this is a Godzilla movie.
So if you had to pick a Godzilla movie, what would it be?
Only one?
Yeah.
Well, I'll pick this one then.
Really?
Yeah, I love it.
Godzilla 1985 is my favorite.
Oh, no.
And you want to know
better than
you want to know what my second favorite Godzilla movie is? And everybody's gonna laugh. Everybody's gonna be like, "Yeah, right." King Kong versus Godzilla.
Why?
I just love that movie.
But Kong beats him.
Yeah, I love it. I'm a little bit more of a King Kong guy
Well,
than a
that's the
Godzilla
next
guy.
movie.
I love Godzilla, but I love
No, King Kong
versus Godzilla.
versus Godzilla comes out next year.
I've heard. I just hope.
Which I'm glad that
But
they
is it
already
gonna
started
have
filming
the
it.
cheese charm? Like I like the cheese charm of King Kong versus
Did you see
Godzilla.
Skull Island?
I did, and I loved the cheese charm in Skull Island.
Well,
It was great. My favorite.
I mean, that's that Kong. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it could be good.
There's some cheese charm in this one. That's the great thing about, because in the 2014 one, aside from not showing enough Godzilla, they teased it too much. They try to pull in the Jaws thing. It just don't work because we want to see it. I like that movie. I
Yeah.
like it, but they focused way too much on the people, and it was way too serious for my taste. Since it is a sequel to that movie, it's great because for the most part they take that tone, and then they throw a specific character in there who he just does his own thing, and he's a complete he just says the most ridiculous things, and it's almost like the transition where he's kind of like nudging people. It's like, hey guys, we're in a Godzilla movie, come on, loosen up.
Yeah.
That's basically his role in the movie. And there are so many Easter eggs, there are so many callbacks. I'm watching it with Jamie, and I'm not predicting everything that happens, but I'm seeing where they are alluding to. And so I'm grabbing her by the knee, and I was like, oh, they're gonna do this, aren't they? I'm trying to be vague on purpose, but I'm sorry, I gotta spoil this thing. I was like, it's Mothra twins, isn't it? It's the Mothra twins. There's an Easter egg to the Mothra twins. It's not totally the little teeny girls or anything like that, but things like that, where it's just they completely allude to old school Godzilla stuff that I didn't think they'd ever touch base on, based on how serious that first Godzilla movie was. And there are so many callbacks, so many Easter eggs to old school stuff, music cues, so much love. It was clearly made by a fan, as Michael Dougherty actually directed it, directed Krampus and Trick or Treat.
That's cool.
Wrote two. Yeah, but no, I absolutely love the movie. Ghidorah is phenomenal, and essentially what happens is Monster Zero, which is another name for Ghidorah, is there, and they've discovered that there's all these different monsters, all these different kaiju, and the scientist has deduced that they are actually the alphas of the world, and that if they just allow them to awake, well, they're gonna end up realizing that the virus of humans, which is just a bunch of parasites, well, they're in the way, and they're just, they're gonna be predators and get rid of us. So awaken them, because they've figured out how to communicate with them, and that there will be collateral damage by doing so. But if they try to coexist with them, well, maybe they'll let the human race exist if they do so. There's so much exposition in this movie. There's so much, but it's like a Godzilla movie. That's what I was saying, is like the critics don't seem to understand. You're watching a Godzilla movie. Anytime a monster's on the screen, you're going to see a bunch of Godzilla and monster shit go down, and it's badass.
Yeah.
And then anytime you see people, there's going to be a bunch of explaining and a bunch of...
And talk about, how do we stop them?
Yeah. And,
what do we do next?
And it's great because so much of it is so ridiculous. Even there's... I don't know how big a Godzilla fan either of you are.
Oh, I like Godzilla.
They start talking about a weapon, and I go, it's the oxygen destroyer, isn't it? It's the oxygen destroyer. He says, it's called the oxygen destroyer. It's like, it's the oxygen destroyer. I told you. Yeah, so things like that. I mean, they actually go into Godzilla lore, and but the thing is that they take because there's been different iterations of Ghidorah and stuff like that. Sometimes he was a monster on Earth. Sometimes he was an alien. And in this one, since they don't know for sure where all these monsters come from, and they're just picking stuff up from cave painting and all of the other stuff, they realize that Godzilla has been the king of the monsters. But then the story that they're reading is that Ghidorah has been a challenger to that. Well, what ends up happening is through certain different things.
Thor and Loki.
Well, not exactly, because they use spoiler, whatever. We spoil shit all the time.
Do it.
They use the oxygen destroyer on it, thinking, okay,
doesn't
well,
matter.
Godzilla's Godzilla, but Ghidorah's fucking painting. We'll just get rid of him, whatever. Well, this is when they discover
He doesn't breathe oxygen.
yeah, and so it kills Godzilla, but
What?
That's a pretty big spoiler.
Oh my
Yep.
God!
He's
Captain
dead.
Spoiler has come back.
I just told you this.
I know.
But it,
That was
that was a big one.
huge.
Did it kill it?
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
I feel like I need a cigarette.
Well, he's not totally dead.
I never smoked in my life, just for anybody that knows.
He doesn't totally die, obviously. Come on. Anyhow, so now, whereas Godzilla has defended the Earth.
I mean, he has to fight Kong, so.
Well, yeah, where Godzilla has completely defended Earth successfully, clearly, because, you know, now Ghidorah has taken over as King of the Monsters, and it's all a human's fault.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, you know, and this just cheeses me off. The people and critics just don't pay attention to the damn movie, what they're watching, because they incorrectly call Rodan a villain and a bad monster. First thing he does is he tries fighting Ghidorah, and then Ghidorah kicks his ass.
My brother used to have, we had iguanas growing up. I had a little guy named Brutus who was awesome. My brother had this monster fucking iguana named Rodan. And that thing, it was so huge that when it died, we didn't know what to do with it. And I think he put it in the neighbor's septic tank.
That's awesome. Well, anyhow, most of the monsters know that they're underlings to the Alpha. And so now that it's been bested by Ghidorah, now it just does what the Ghidorah, because it recognizes Ghidorah as the king.
That's
so
awesome.
It's not a bad guy. It's just doing what it's told because it's
totally submits to the Alpha. Like they get it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And
I'm excited about this one, man.
Oh,
this
so
might be
good.
the first one
so
that you've
good.
told me about that I'm like, I'll see it before it's out of theaters.
You have to.
I will.
Seriously, because the scale of everything that's on. What's so cool is that the CGI is great and it looks real, but I can't really articulate why. It feels like I'm watching guys in suits, even though they're CGI creation. I mean, they were mocapped by people, clearly.
Yeah.
And, you know,
we know
Alan Maxson, yeah.
We know one of them.
And I still don't know how that works, that three people play the heads. How do you mocap for a head?
Especially if it's just like,
and I keep trying to get the information from him on Facebook. I'm like, I'm not really sure how that works exactly, Alan. And he doesn't answer me. So
well, we're going to get Alan Maxson on this show. We're going to interview him, and we're going to make him talk.
They definitely have their own personalities, which is great. It's so funny. Like one is being dumb and stuff like that, and so the other one literally grabs by the ear and is like, "Get your shit together, man."
I think Doug Tate was another one of them.
I think you're right.
I think Doug Tate was another one. He's a buddy of mine too.
Yeah.
Huh.
But the scale and I loved the movie so much. I was geeking out so bad. I was so happy at the end of the movie.
That's good.
I felt like a kid.
So we're going to go over the scale on this one.
Yeah.
11? Yeah. Did you turn it to 11?
Okay, we'll turn it to 11.
Woo!
I broke the scale finally. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Yes, it's the Godzilla movie I've been waiting for my whole life. That's what I told Jamie going in the movie. I was like, I think this is the Godzilla movie I've been waiting my whole life for. And then coming out, I was like, oh, that is everything I wanted and more.
How many hours do you think, if you started Godzilla right now and went through every one of them, how long would that be?
There's over 30 of them, I know.
Because I'm thinking, what if we could do like an old school telethon type thing? Where it's like,
how far did you make it into the Leprechaun?
No, that was tough. We didn't start it till friggin' 10 o'clock at night.
But it was only, what was it, 7 or 8 movies? What was it? You made it into like 5.
I made it to 5.
Yeah.
Out of 7. Out of 6.
But this.
I've done the third.
But this thing you're talking about would be more than 2 days.
I've done Friday the 13th from beginning.
This would be more than 2 days.
No, I know. So this is what I'm saying. We want to raise some money.
It's like 37 movies or something.
We can raise some money for charity. Everybody can get pledges. And we could freaking have the telethon line going. I'm sure you could do that online now with a chat room, right? And we could set up in front of the TV here at the Monster Museum, whatever willing soul
35. There's 35.
35 movies. Whatever willing soul. We have Vinny's Pizzeria right across the street. They'll bring us food, and we can freaking sit here, start it at like 6 a.m., and go over a whole weekend of watching Godzilla. We could start at the beginning, and whoever it's like those guys that sat on the billboard in Allentown, PA. They ended up out there for a year or so.
It's more than
281 days.
Right? It's more than
sure. We can. There has been people in kissing contests to win a car that didn't stop kissing for more than 2 days. That's a thing. Like that's a old timey fundraising way to go. And I think we should have a Godzilla-thon. I think that we should get people to pledge money. We can get sponsors. We can get everybody here that's willing to do it. 6 to 10 contestants, and they sit and watch from the beginning to the end without falling asleep. You can be excused.
Cannot see my cocked eyebrows.
You can get excused for bathroom breaks. You can get excused for bathroom breaks, and you can get food delivered from Vinny's. I think this is gold. I bet you we could raise some serious money.
According to bingeclock.com, it would take 2 days and 12 minutes to watch all of them.
Godzilla-thon. And what about the Guinness?
Wait,
is there a
Guinness? Is that all 35, including the new one?
Could we set a Guinness record?
How long does it take to watch all the Godzilla movies on Binge Clock?
What's the date?
It goes through all of them. Let's see. See what the last one is.
Where's Toy Story?
I went way too far. 29, 30.
Oh, no, it's more.
Only way.
It's
it
more
goes all the way
than
up to 2014.
It's more than that.
So that would be the 2014.
So we're looking at like 2.5 days.
Well, why does it say 30 though?
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be 35, right?
Yeah, so there's Shin Godzilla too.
So here's the thing. This is
that movie's so
I'm
talky,
planting
dude.
a seed right now. If you fall asleep, you're out.
What?
If you
wait, you're out.
Out. You lose the marathon. You gotta go home.
What do you
Your shoulder
What
is
do you
tapped.
get? What do you get if you make it through?
I don't know. Prizes.
I thought we were doing this to raise money.
No.
You're talking about sending
No.
people home.
Listen, have you ever done anything like jump rope for heart or anything? Or sold Girl Scout cookies or something?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Girl Scout.
what you do is you get pledges. So we say, I'm going to watch all 35 Godzilla movies, and I'm going to do it, and if you could pledge, that'd be great. All the money raised goes to the charity of Monster Museum Choice. Then the contestants who are going to do said adventure, if they make it to certain points, they get prizes. And if they make it all the way, they get the grand prize. And I'm not giving away a mobile home or a friggin' car or something, but I would give away something cool.
And what if
something
multiple people
worth it? If the multiple people make it, then they all are going to get a prize. But if you don't, you tapped on the shoulder, you're out of here, you don't get your prize. But your money raised goes to the charity. I think the Godzilla-thon is a thing. We're gonna figure this out, and we're gonna move forward with it. I think it could be so cool.
Can't we do one without 30 plus movies?
No, because then it's not a challenge. It's not a challenge.
It's still a challenge if it's 20 movies, man.
No.
You fell asleep during a 7-movie marathon.
Listen, I fell asleep during that movie marathon after working a 12-hour day. It's a different thing. I worked all day.
Okay, well, hang on. That may be true, but 12 hours plus what? We'll give you 10 hours on the 5 movies, even though it's less than that.
It was less.
No, I know.
7, maybe.
That's only barely a day.
It's okay. That's fine. And I started that marathon at 9 o'clock.
And knowing you're like, even though the marathon's coming up, you'll still have worked a full day going into the marathon. I
want to be incredibly clear. I'm not going to be a contestant. I am hosting.
It's for charity, dude. No, this is great. I mean, I'm not going to do it.
Listen, I am hosting this event. I am going to put this out to the Monster Museum universe. I am hosting.
Where do I fall in this?
Well, if you want to sign up, you can. If you don't, then you're a pussy. I don't care.
You better do it too, man.
I will.
Pussy, we're not doing it. You're not going to do it.
I mean, if you think you're a Godzilla fan, you should try.
You're a Godzilla fan.
Yeah. That's why I'm hosting a Godzilla-thon. That's a big deal. Okay, I'm going to update you guys on the Godzilla-thon as soon as I know more. But at this moment...
Let's hear it from everybody else who thinks that Tom should participate.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
If I get 99 people that say that I should participate.
99?
99.
We don't have 99 comments yet. What are you talking about? And all our videos come by, we get 99 comments, and you're like, if 99 people.
Well, I'm just saying, we put out messages to over 3,000 people to listen to this podcast. That is very easy to get 99 out of 3,000. I don't know how many are listening on iTunes. I don't know how many are listening on Spotify. I know how many watch on YouTube. That's about it. But YouTube comes out a week after the actual broadcast. So it's one of those things that if I get, I'll lower that number, 25. If I get 25 messages that say, Tom, you have to partake in your own contest, I will say, okay, I'll do it.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm really
this
competitive.
is actually a logistics one. You have to have King of Monsters in there.
Yeah,
Well, how do we watch it?
when it comes out.
This was months out.
Yeah,
Or
no,
months-
this is
months
something we have
months
to
out.
plan.
Yeah.
Because I want to have something like, what if we can get original Godzilla performers to come? Like, what if we can really blow this thing up? This could be cool. This could be really
When
cool.
you say original, like who? What do you mean?
Like in the convention circuit, there are,
Well, I know.
Creature
Well, because
Suit
like the
performers.
original guy just died.
yeah, but,
Last year.
well, not him.
Yeah.
But maybe people that have partaken in
Ones that aren't
productions.
dead.
Yeah. No, and get some really cool, like,
Oh, real quick though, I just want to, because we didn't cover. I said who directed it. Yeah, Millie Bobby Brown, who it's her feature film debut, but she plays 11 in
oh yeah.
in, Stranger Things.
Does she have hair?
Yeah, she has hair. And you got Kyle Chandler from Friday Night Lights.
Was she good? Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, it's got a great cast. And Vera Farmiga, she's fantastic. She's been in lots of stuff, but I love her as Norma Bates and Bates Motel,
Yeah.
the revival thing. Ken Watanabe, he was in the last one, but he reprises his role. Zhang Ziyi, she's the hot Asian chick in Rush Hour 2.
Oh yeah, I
And
remember.
then she was also in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. She played the student that ended up getting the sword, and then she's one of the Mothra twins.
Very cool.
Well, she is the Mothra. That's that's the funniest thing though. It's like that's totally just for Easter egg sake and just to put it in there, because you see her as one character, and then for a quick 15-second thing, you see her standing somewhere else. And you're like, well, how'd she get there? And then you realize she's the twin sister.
Yeah.
And then it's only that she plays the other character 15 seconds. That's it. But and then Bradley Whitford, who he's been in lots and lots of stuff. I'm trying to remember you've seen Revenge of the Nerds 2. He plays the main alpha beta bad guy.
Yeah.
He's the comic relief guy. He's great. He's
That's
fantastic in it. Yeah. But Charles Dance.
I don't know who that is.
He's the bad guy in Golden Child. You recognize him.
I probably recognize.
Saddam Nutsi.
Ah.
Yeah, but but they play the parents, Kyle Chandler and Vera Farmiga. Yeah. None of the humans are annoying. They're actually good
That's
characters.
great.
The only time I ever got, I don't even want to say annoyed with them, but where I didn't want to see them was when all the shit started going down, and then they're still trying to pay attention. I'm like, okay, yeah, I like you guys and stuff, but let's go back to Godzilla. Let's just go back to Godzilla. But yeah.
Well, awesome. I think we're going to move on to spinning this killer wheel of misfortune. Although you did survive one the other day, but this time around, we'll see what happens.
Sue, get back to the boat. Run back to the boat right now, Sue! What? What?
Victor Crowley. Hatchet.
Yeah, I know who Victor Crowley is. Well, you can't kill him though. Who's lived through him so far? See, that's the thing. It's like you got to weigh out. But see, this is the negative thing, And I will pull this card all the time. We'll call the yellow card. I'm a minority. I am destined to die almost all the time, unless it's an Asian horror movie. So I'm dead. That's it. I'm dead.
How'd you get it? What
How did I
happened?
get the yellow card? My
No.
parents.
How would Victor Crowley decimate you?
Probably with the hatchet. Top 3, Wally.
Well, I was trying to mouth to him Godzilla. I'd like to know your Waleed's top 3 favorite Godzilla monsters.
Oh. Godzilla vs. King Kong. I love that one.
No, actual monsters.
Monsters in the series.
Oh, the monsters in the series?
Yeah.
Let's see. Ghidorah.
Ghidorah's awesome.
The Smog Monster. I forgot what his name, the other name is, but the Smog Monster one. Because that one's just a whole weird movie in itself. And I like Baby Godzilla.
Oh.
Oh my god.
I like the one Baby Godzilla. When he blows
What
his
about
bubble.
Biollante or Megagyrus?
Yeah. That's fine.
What's the squid one? I like that one too. The
Uh,
squid looking one.
the
I
Godzilla.
don't know the names.
Yeah, now I'm good.
What's the squid looking Godzilla monster?
Or how about Mechagodzilla?
Yeah, I would have said Mega
Are you
Godzilla.
talking about Destroyer?
Is that Destroyer? The one that looks like a squid? He's got the pointy like squid head?
No, there's one that is just a squid.
Yeah.
He's in the NES video game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That
Yeah.
one.
Mechagodzilla, though. You got robot versions of anything's
Mega
awesome.
Godzilla was great.
You know what? Yeah, Mechagodzilla. I'll do that one. Mechagodzilla's awesome.
Well, who you taking out? Baby Godzilla? Take out Baby Godzilla.
I like Baby Godzilla. I'm keeping Baby Godzilla.
Actually,
He's adorable.
Do you know that actually the son of Godzilla became Godzilla later on in the series?
What if
The original Godzilla died, and then son of Godzilla became the Godzilla.
What if the grand prize for the person that makes it through the Godzilla-thon gets a free tattoo of Baby Godzilla?
Oh. How about a Godzilla tattoo?
That would be
Ghidorah.
Ghidorah. All right. Mechagodzilla, Ghidorah, Baby Godzilla.
all right. You heard it here, folks. Nighttime
Baby
is the
Godzilla
right
rules.
time.
Wait.
Baby Godzilla for life.
What happened to Ghidorah?
I said Ghidorah, didn't I?
No, because you said Mechagodzilla.
Okay, Mechagodzilla, Ghidorah.
This has been a good one, and these guys are going to fight it out. I'm watching the king of the monsters right now. I'm Tom Devlin, that's Jeff Chang, over there's Waleed, and we are out.
Baby Godzilla.
Where's Ghidorah?
Baby Godzilla for life.
Godzilla!